Right then, look at this. Go on, have a proper look at this beautiful dark mystery. See that? The bubbles are going down. Down. Now, I'm not the most sober man you'll ever meet, I'll grant you that, but I'm not so far gone that I don't know which way is up, and bubbles go up. It's their one job, so what in the divine name of Arthur Guinness is going on here? This isn't a pint, it's a feckin' magic trick. I know, it's an absolute codswallop. It's a betrayal of the highest order. It's like watching a dog meow. It's just wrong. It's proof the universe is a cheeky lying sod, and tonight we're calling it out. So is the pint drunk, or are we all just idiots? Let's get to the bottom of it. Now, any sane person, any person with a single functioning brain cell that hasn't been pickled in whiskey knows how a bubble works. It's their one job. Their one job is to go up. That's it. They're not asked to solve world hunger or figure out what women want. They have one simple, solitary task on this green earth: get to the top. A bubble is just a little pocket of air, or gas, or whatever fancy stuff they're putting in it these days, and gas is lighter than liquid. It's not a debate, it's not up for discussion. If you're lighter than the crowd of fellas around you, you float above them. It's how a balloon works. It's how a ship works, for feck's sake. It's the basic promise of the universe. What goes up must come down, and what's full of air must go up. Think of it like this. You're in a packed pub, shoulder to shoulder, and someone lets out a right stinker of a fart. Where does it go? It goes up, right up your nose. It doesn't sink down to the floor for a little nap. It rises, because that's what gas does. It's ambitious. It has dreams. So when I look at this pint, and I see these little fellas, these tiny bubbles, just taking a nosedive, it feels like a personal insult. Are they lazy? Are they confused? Did they get bad directions? It's like they've gone on strike. A tiny, bubbly protest against the very laws of physics. It's anarchy in a glass is what it is. It's madness. And for years, I thought it was just me. I thought the drink had finally gotten the better of old Murphy. I'd be sitting here, staring into me pint like it held the secrets of the cosmos, and the barman would give me that look, the maybe it's time for a glass of water look. But I wasn't seeing things, I was seeing the truth. But here's the thing, and you're not gonna believe this. I remember the first time I really saw it. I was a young fella, barely old enough to be in a place like this. Me da had bought me first proper pint of the black stuff. Said it put hairs on me chest. I was more worried about it putting me on me arse after one sip, to be honest. And I'm sitting there, trying to look like I know what I'm doing, holding the glass like it's a holy relic. And I see it. This beautiful, creamy waterfall, going the wrong way. I thought me eyes were playing tricks on me. I thought maybe the pub was built on a hill, or maybe I was having a stroke. I said to me, "Da." I said, "Da, the bubbles are broken." He just looked at me. This big stony-faced man took a long slow sip from his own pint and said, "Son, that's how you know it's a good one." And that was it. No explanation. Just another bit of Irish mystery, like where the other sock goes or why we love a sad song. It was a piece of ancient wisdom passed down from father to son with absolutely no science to back it up. For years, I'd argue with mates about it. I'd be 3 pints in, getting all philosophical, and I'd say, "Paddy, look at the bubbles, they're defying God and nature." And he'd look at me like I'd just grown a second head. "Murphy," he'd say, "you've had enough." But I hadn't had enough. I'd had just enough to see the truth. The universe was showing me a magic trick, and I was the only one watching. Everyone else was too busy talking about football or complaining about their wives. They were missing the miracle happening right under their noses. But it's not magic, is it? It's just mad bastard science, and it all comes down to a couple of things. First, the bubbles themselves. They're not the same as the ones in your fizzy lager. They're a different class of fella altogether. Your lager is full of carbon dioxide. Big, loud, obnoxious bubbles. They're like tourists in Temple Bar on a Saturday night. They're pushy, they're in a hurry, and they're going straight to the top with no regard for anyone else. They've got one mission, and they'll knock over anyone who gets in their way. But a good stout, that's different. That's mostly nitrogen, and nitrogen bubbles are tiny. They're shy. They're the fellas standing in the corner, nursing their drink, too polite to push through the crowd. There are millions of them, but they're small and weak. They haven't got the same get up and go, remember that. They're weak. Now, the second part of the trick is the glass itself. This beautiful curvy work of art. It's not just for looking pretty, those sloped sides are the key to the whole feckin' illusion, because here's what's really happening, the whole thing is a conspiracy between the glass and the gas. The bubbles in the middle of the glass, away from the sides, they're doing what they're told, they're rising, there's less friction in the middle, see? It's the fast lane. So they can get a good run at it, form a proper column, and head for the surface like they're supposed to. But as all those bubbles rise up the middle, they're pushing the liquid up with them. It's like a big bubbly elevator going to the top floor, a constant flow of stout heading north, but when all that liquid gets to the top, it hits the creamy head and has nowhere else to go. It can't just spill out all over the table, can it? So, what does it do? It flows outwards and starts to run down along the slippery, sloped sides of the glass. It creates a current, a circulation, a feckin' conveyor belt of stout going down. And what about our tiny, shy, weak little nitrogen bubbles that are hanging out near the sides, trying to mind their own business? Well, they get caught in the current. The downward flow of the liquid is stronger than their pathetic attempt to rise, so they get dragged down with it, kicking and screaming, I imagine. They're not sinking, they're being pulled under. It's a con job! A beautiful, brilliant con job orchestrated by a pint glass. You're not seeing sinking bubbles, you're seeing bubbles that are just bad swimmers in a very strong river. They're trying to go up, bless their little hearts, but the big bully of a stout current is just pushing them down. It's a tragedy is what it is. And here's the real kicker. The reason it all works, the reason they use those tiny nitrogen bubbles in the first place, is for the creaminess. It's what gives you that thick, smooth, velvety head on top. It's what makes the whole drink feel like a proper meal, so the very thing that makes the stout so bleeding lovely is the same thing that makes it a liar. The feature is the flaw. The big pushy CEO, two bubbles in a lager would be too strong, they'd just fight their way to the top no matter what. They wouldn't stand for any of this conveyor belt nonsense. But the nitrogen is delicate enough to be bullied by the liquid, so the glass, the feckin' glass, and the tiny bubbles are in on it together. It's a conspiracy. An optical illusion, a magic trick, happening right here in me hand. And all this time, I thought I was the drunk one. Turns out, it was the universe all along. It's been gaslighting me with a pint of stout, the sheer audacity of it. So there you have it, the great mystery of the sinking bubbles, solved. It's not a miracle, it's just a traffic jam. But it just goes to show you, doesn't it? Nothing's ever as it seems. You can't just look at one little part and think you know the whole story. You look at the bubbles on the side and you think they're failing, going the wrong way, defeated. But you have to look at the whole pint. They're part of a bigger system. The stuff in the middle is going up so the stuff on the sides can go down. It all works together. It has to. Maybe it's a lesson, eh? Sometimes the thing that looks like it's going down is just making way for something else to rise. Or maybe it's just a pint and I've been talking to myself for 10 minutes. What the hell do I know? Right, that's enough science for one night. Me glass is empty. Go on now, get out of it.